Have you ever noticed that even when your meals look the same as they did years ago, your body doesn't seem to handle them the same way? Maybe you feel more bloated after eating, or your energy dips faster than it used to. That's not just aging knocking at your door. It's your body's way of telling you it's time to pay closer attention to what you're feeding it. After the age of 60, our bodies go through changes that make us more sensitive to certain foods. The metabolism slows down, digestion becomes more delicate, and the immune system isn't quite as sharp. And believe it or not, some foods we've been eating for decades, foods that might seem harmless, could actually be quietly shortening our lifespan. I know that might sound a little scary. No one wants to hear that their favorite comfort food might be hurting them. But the truth is, if we want to enjoy a long, healthy life, playing with grandkids, taking walks, traveling, or just waking up feeling good, then what we eat matters more now than ever before. So today, we're going to talk about 4 foods that people over 60 should seriously consider cutting back on, or avoiding altogether. And don't worry, I'm not just going to list off a bunch of don'ts. I'm going to explain why these foods can be harmful, and what you can enjoy instead. Let's start with a big one. A favorite for many, but a silent threat to your heart. Fried foods. Yes, I'm talking about those crispy golden fries, fried chicken, donuts, and onion rings. They're crunchy, satisfying, and bring back memories of indulgent meals. But the way these foods are cooked, deep fried in oil at high heat, makes them incredibly harmful, especially for older adults. When oils are heated to high temperatures, they form toxic compounds and trans fats. These contribute to clogged arteries, inflammation, and higher levels of LDL cholesterol, the bad kind. And when your arteries are narrowed or hardened, your risk of heart attacks and strokes skyrockets. As we age, our blood vessels naturally become less elastic, so they're already under strain. Adding fried foods into the mix only makes things worse. I once met Dennis, an 81-year-old gentleman who loved his fried chicken. He had it almost every other day. But after a minor heart scare, his doctor asked him to try switching to grilled or baked alternatives. Within 3 months, Dennis noticed something amazing. His energy returned, his blood pressure dropped slightly, and he didn't feel sluggish after lunch anymore. All he did was ditch the fryer. Now if you're thinking, but fried food is the only thing that tastes good, I promise there are options. You can still get that satisfying crunch by baking or air frying your food with a light coating of olive oil or spices. Not only does it reduce the bad fats, but it also preserves the flavor without sacrificing your health. Now let's talk about another type of food that might be hiding in your fridge or freezer right now. Red meat and processed meats. I know. Steak dinners, sausages, deli meats. They're tasty, familiar, and often the centerpiece of a hearty meal. But red meat, especially when processed into things like bacon, ham, hot dogs, or cold cuts, carries some serious risks for anyone, and even more so after 60. Why? Because red meat is high in saturated fat, which contributes to high cholesterol and inflammation. And processed meats are often loaded with preservatives like nitrates, which have been linked to an increased risk of cancer, particularly colon cancer. On top of that, these meats can strain your kidneys, contribute to high blood pressure, and even disrupt your gut health. Let me tell you about Lorraine. She's 74, lives alone, and used to eat bacon or cold cuts almost every day because it was convenient. It wasn't until her doctor noticed her kidney function dropping that she took a closer look at her diet. With a few simple swaps, like having grilled chicken, fish, or plant-based proteins instead, her numbers improved, and she felt lighter, more energetic, and less bloated after meals. You don't have to give up meat entirely, but choosing leaner, less processed options makes a huge difference. Fish like salmon or mackerel offer healthy omega-3 fats that support brain and heart health. Beans, lentils, tofu, and eggs are excellent sources of clean, gentle protein that don't put your body under stress. And bonus, they're easier to digest too. The key here isn't about restriction, it's about empowerment. Knowing what foods could harm your long-term health means you have the power to make better choices, one meal at a time. Think of your food as medicine. With every bite, you're either nourishing your body or challenging it to fight harder than it should have to. After 60, life is too precious to be spent feeling tired, bloated, or sick. These changes might feel small, switching from fried to baked or choosing salmon over sausage, but they add up in powerful ways. Your body will thank you. Your mind will feel clearer. You'll sleep better, move easier, and enjoy your days more fully. And isn't that what we all want? To live not just longer but better. Let's keep going, shall we? Because now that we've talked about fried foods and red or processed meats, there's another sneaky villain in our diets. One that hides in plain sight and often disguises itself as healthy. I'm talking about refined sugars. Now, before you say, "I don't eat that much sugar," let me ask, do you have a sweet tooth after meals? Do you enjoy a morning muffin or sweetened yogurt? Maybe a glass of juice or a low-fat snack bar that promises to be healthy? Here's the truth. Sugar shows up in so many everyday foods, even the ones you wouldn't expect. And once we pass 60, the way our bodies process sugar changes. We become more sensitive to blood sugar spikes, our insulin response weakens, and over time, this can lead to prediabetes, full-blown type 2 diabetes, and inflammation that affects everything from our joints to our brain. A sweet treat once in a while. That's okay. Life's meant to be enjoyed. But regularly consuming high-sugar foods, cakes, cookies, candies, soda, even fruit juices, can wreak havoc on our health. Doesn't just increase our waistlines. It silently increases our risk of heart disease, dementia, and even certain cancers. Let me tell you about Harold. He's 68, and for years he started every morning with cereal and a glass of orange juice. He thought he was doing the right thing, low-fat cereal, no coffee, and fruit juice instead of soda. But his energy would crash by mid-morning, and he began experiencing brain fog that worried him. A nutritionist helped him uncover the truth. That healthy breakfast was packed with sugar. The cereal, though marketed as heart-friendly, had nearly 12 grams of sugar per serving, and the juice another 20. That's more sugar than a donut and a soda combined. And all before 9 a.m. Once Harold switched to oatmeal topped with cinnamon and berries, plus water or tea instead of juice, the difference was dramatic. More energy, sharper focus, and over a few months, he even lost a few pounds without trying. The problem with sugar is that it's not just a physical issue, it plays with our emotions too. The quick bursts of energy feel good at first, but they always lead to a crash. And for seniors, that crash can mean more than just a slump. It can cause dizziness, irritability, or even a fall. So what can you do instead? When that sweet craving hits, try reaching for nature's candy, fruit. Piece of dark chocolate with nuts. A baked apple with a little cinnamon. These options are satisfying but don't overload your system. And more importantly, they support your health instead of sabotaging it. The next food I want to talk about is one that often seems harmless, especially because it's easy, cheap, and fills you up. But it could be stealing nutrients from your body and increasing your risk of serious illness. It's white, refined carbohydrates. Things like white bread, white rice, pasta, and pastries. I know these are staples. They've been on our dinner tables for decades. But after 60, our digestion slows down, and we need nutrient-dense food, not food that just fills the stomach. Refined carbs are stripped of fiber, vitamins, and minerals. What you're left with is a food that turns almost immediately into sugar in your body. That causes your blood sugar to spike and drop, similar to eating sweets. And over time, it can increase your risk of diabetes, belly fat, and inflammation. Let's look at a simple example. Mary, a 72-year-old grandmother of 5. She used to rely on white toast with jam in the morning, and spaghetti with white noodles in the evening because it was quick and easy. But she began noticing swelling in her joints and weight creeping up around her belly. Her doctor didn't want to immediately jump to medication, so he asked her to try switching just one thing. Replace the white carbs with whole grains. So she did. She swapped out white bread for whole grain, used brown rice instead of white, and tried chickpea pasta instead of regular pasta. And guess what? Within weeks, her energy improved. Her digestion got better. She even said her mood lifted, and her hands felt less stiff. Here's the beautiful part. You don't have to give up bread or pasta entirely. But you do want to make smarter choices. Choose whole grain or sprouted grain bread. Go for quinoa, barley, or farro instead of plain white rice. These options take a little longer to cook sometimes, but they give your body the fiber and nutrients it needs to stay strong, fight disease, and keep your blood sugar balanced. Think of your body like a classic car. You wouldn't fuel a vintage car with low-quality gas. It needs something cleaner, more refined, something that protects the engine. It's the same with what you eat. At this stage in life, every bite either fuels you or slows you down. So why not fuel up with something that helps you feel vibrant, steady, and clear-headed? And let's not forget, food is more than just calories. It's memory, it's culture, it's comfort. You don't have to give up everything you love. You just need to be aware. Choose with intention. A little change here, a swap there, and suddenly your meals are working with your body, not against it. We've covered a lot so far, and you might be thinking, wow, I eat some of these foods every day. That's okay. This isn't about guilt, it's about growth. You've made it this far in life, and that's no small feat now. It's about making sure the years ahead are filled with strength, clarity, and joy. You deserve to wake up without aches, to feel light on your feet, to move through the day with energy and confidence. And what's on your plate can help get you there. You just need the right information, and the willingness to try something new. Now let's talk about the final food on our list. The one that surprises a lot of people because it's not just a food, it's a flavor. And once we hit 60, our bodies start reacting very differently to it, even though we've probably been enjoying it our whole lives. I'm talking about salt, or more specifically, too much sodium. Now listen, salt isn't the enemy. In fact, your body needs a little bit of it to function properly. But the problem is, most of us aren't getting a little bit. We're getting way more than we think, even if we don't use the salt shaker that much. Sodium hides in almost everything that comes in a box, can, or package. It's in soups, sauces, deli meats, frozen dinners, even in bread and breakfast cereal. It's used to preserve food, enhance flavor, and make products taste better, so we buy them again. But what's good for food companies isn't always good for your heart. Too much sodium causes your body to retain water, which raises your blood pressure. And high blood pressure, that's a silent condition that damages your heart, kidneys, brain, and eyes, without any obvious symptoms until it's too far gone. It's one of the leading causes of heart attacks and strokes in older adults. Let me share the story of Gloria. She's 74, always considered herself healthy, and even walked a mile a day. But her blood pressure was creeping up, and her doctor recommended medication. She wasn't ready to go that route just yet, so she asked what else she could do. Her doctor pointed straight to her diet, specifically her sodium intake. First, she was confused. It's not about cutting out all the flavor. It's about retraining your palate and giving your heart a break. Think about it this way. After 60, your body is still capable of amazing things. But it's also more sensitive. Talks to you in quieter ways. Maybe through fatigue or swelling or a little brain fog. The foods we've talked about, fried foods, processed meats, refined sugars, white carbs, and too much salt, can all contribute to those subtle signals. But here's the best part. You don't need to overhaul everything overnight. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be aware. Start with one change. Swap white bread for whole grain. Drink water instead of juice. Cook your favorite dish at home instead of heating up the frozen version. Little shifts like that create momentum. And momentum is what leads to lasting change. And don't worry, you're not giving up joy. In fact, you're giving yourself more of it. More energy to spend time with your grandkids. More strength to keep gardening, traveling, dancing, or doing whatever makes you smile. More clarity to enjoy each day with a sharper mind and a lighter heart. That's what eating well is really about. It's not about restriction, it's about freedom. Freedom from aches and medications and fatigue. Freedom to live your life fully, without being held back by preventable health issues. So, if you've been eating some of these foods we talked about, don't feel guilty. We all have. The key is simply recognizing the impact they can have and choosing, step by step, to make better choices. Every meal is a new opportunity to love your body. Every bite is a chance to feed your future. And now I want to hear from you. Have you noticed any foods that make you feel more tired or sluggish? Have you already started making changes to your meals? Share your story in the comments. I read everyone, and so do others in this community. You never know who your words might inspire. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Lets me know you want more content like this. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We've got more tips coming your way on how to stay strong, sharp, and independent after 60. You've already made it this far in life. And that means you've got wisdom, experience, and resilience. Now let's make sure your health matches your spirit. Here's to living your best, longest, most vibrant life. Starting with what's on your plate. Now before we wrap up, I want to say something really important. And I hope it sticks with you. You see, no matter what age we are, it's never too late to make a change. And when it comes to food and our health, even the smallest adjustments can lead to surprisingly big results. Sometimes people over 60 feel like, well, I've eaten this way my whole life. What's the point of changing now? But that's the thing. Your body is always ready to respond to love and care. Always. I've heard so many stories of folks in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, who made a few simple changes to what they ate. And suddenly they had more energy, clearer thinking, better digestion, and even fewer aches and pains. One man said his knees stopped hurting just by cutting back on fried foods and eating more leafy greens. Another woman said her blood sugar went down after swapping her morning pastries for oatmeal and fruit. It doesn't have to be complicated, just has to be consistent. And I want you to really take this in. You deserve to feel good. You deserve to wake up and have the energy to do what you love, without being weighed down by fatigue, bloating, or pain. You deserve to be strong, independent, and sharp for as long as possible. And the food you choose each day plays a bigger role in that than most people realize. Now, I know life gets busy, even in retirement. You may be helping care for grandkids, or managing a home, or trying to make time for yourself between doctor appointments and family visits. So here's something practical to take with you. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for progress. If cutting out all processed meats feels like too much right now, try limiting them to once or twice a week. If giving up white bread sounds impossible, try mixing in whole grain bread every other day until your taste buds adjust. If soda is a daily habit, start by switching to sparkling water with lemon a few times a week. Step by step. That's how real change happens. And it's not just about cutting things out, it's also about adding the good stuff in. Add more water. Add a handful of nuts. Add a walk after lunch. And foods that love you back. You don't need fancy diets or expensive supplements. You just need awareness, consistency, and a little encouragement. And that's what I'm here for. And here's something else to think about. Food isn't just fuel. It's connection. It's comfort, it's tradition, but it can also be medicine. Every meal can be a chance to protect your heart, your brain, and your bones. It's one of the few things we do multiple times a day that directly affects how we feel, today and in the future. So the next time you reach for that grocery item, ask yourself, is this helping me live longer and feel better, or is it holding me back? Not in a judgmental way, but in a loving way, like you would ask someone you care deeply about. Because you should care deeply about you. And the beautiful thing is, it's not about adding more years to your life. It's about adding more life to your years. That's what we're doing here. Creating a life that feels lighter, freer, and more joyful with every passing year. Now before we go, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. What's one food you've already cut back on that made a difference? Or one change you're ready to try after watching this video? Your story could be the motivation someone else needs today. And if you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help more people see the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because we've got more empowering content coming your way. Practical tips, inspiring stories, and a supportive community that's here for you every step of the way. Remember, aging doesn't mean slowing down. It means getting smarter about how we care for ourselves. It means using our wisdom to make choices that support our energy, our mood, and our independence. And most importantly, it means believing that our best days aren't behind us. They're still to come. Take care of yourself one bite at a time. And as always, here's to living your healthiest, happiest, and most vibrant life, at any age. See you in the next video.